Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 14, Text 37, the chapter entitled Brahma's Prayers to Lord Krishna. So please repeat after me. Prapancham Nishprapanchah Api Vidambayasi Bhutale Prapanna Janata Ananda Sandoham Pratitum Prabho. Prapanchang Nishprapanchopi Vidambayasi Bhutale Prapanna Janatananda Sandoham Pratitung Prabho. Prapanchang Nishprapanchopi Vidambayasi Bhutale Prapanna Janatananda Sandoham Pratitung Prabho. Prapanchang Nishprapanchopi Vidambayasi Bhutale Prapanna Janatananda Sandoham Pratitung Prabho. Prapanchang Nishprapanchopi Vidambayasi Bhutale Prapanna Janatananda Sandoham Pratitung Prabho. Prapanchang, that which is material. Nishprapanchaha, completely transcendental to material existence. Api, although. Vidambayasi, you imitate. Bhutale, on the surface of the earth. Prapanna, who are surrendered. Janata, of people. Ananda Sandoham, the great variety of different kinds of ecstasies. Pratitum, in order to spread. Prabho, O Master. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada's disciples. Translation: My dear Master, although you have nothing to do with material existence, you come to this earth and imitate material life just to expand the varieties of ecstatic enjoyment for your surrendered devotees. Purport. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura points out that just as a lamp does not seem to shine as brightly in sunlight as it does in the shade, or as a diamond does not seem as brilliant on a silver platter as it does on a plate of blue glass, the Lord's pastimes as Govinda do not seem as amazing in the transcendental abode of Vaikuntha as they do within the material realm of Maya. Lord Krishna comes to the earth and acts toward his pure devotees exactly like a devoted son, boyfriend, husband, father, friend, and so on. And within the darkness of material existence, these brilliant, liberated pastimes give unlimited ecstasy to the surrendered devotees of the Lord. In his Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada quotes Lord Brahma as follows: I can also understand that your appearance as a small cowherd boy, a child of the cowherd men, is not at all a material activity. You are so much obliged by their affection that you are here to enthuse them with more loving service by your transcendental presence. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminati Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Prapancham Nishprapanchopi Vidambhayasi Bhutale Prapanna Janatananda Sandoham Pratitung Prabho. My dear Master, although you have nothing to do with material existence, you come to this earth and imitate material life just to expand the varieties of ecstatic enjoyment for your surrendered devotees. So in the yesterday's verse, we saw Brahma was pointing out that the devotees in the Vrindavan, although it appears like they are ordinary family people, they do day-to-day family activities, but it's completely on the transcendental platform, nothing to do with mundane activity, because their thoughts, their deeds, everything is immersed in Krishna. Their whole existence is simply to please Krishna. So Brahma explained that, but on the other hand, the materialistic people, he very nicely puts the point that their desires, their illusory desires or the materialistic desires, he's comparing it to the thieves. Because the original desire of the jiva or of all the living entities is to love Krishna, or that is hidden in the heart. We discussed that yesterday, that is completely hidden in the heart, but that is being stolen away by the materialistic desires. So he's comparing that to thieves. And as a result of that, the home in which they are staying, that home has become a prison. So we left Krishna and came to this material world, and this material world is compared to a prison, because we think that we want to enjoy separately from Krishna, but we are actually locked in a very dark place. So without the sun, there is no light here. That's the situation of this material world. So actually we are in a very dark prison. That's the reality. Yeah, so the life without serving Krishna, life without developing a relationship with Krishna, life without dedicating our life for Krishna, such a life is a useless life. Mandanam Lokaranjanam. It's decorating a dead body with all the ornaments, with all the cosmetics you have for makeup. It's just that. What's the use of decorating a dead body? And then he says that on top of that, then the more you get into illusion, then you get into the attachments, various kinds of attachment. The attachment to the wife, attachment to children, attachment to friends, attachment to relatives, attachment to the so-called social chain of relationship you have developed. So the attachment to the house, then the nation, and whatnot. It's just ever expanding. And he says that he compares that to the foot shackles. It's completely when you are tied on your leg, what you can do. So that's the situation. So very nicely he has put that. And it was a kind of a response that he gives, because Krishna is raising a question. In the commentary it is explained that Krishna is raising a question that what about those sannyasis? They just, when they look at these people in the Vrindavan, it appears like they are family people, they are entangled. So then Brahma says that no, they are not entangled, my dear Lord. You know about them. They are completely absorbed in you. Now in continuation to that, now he goes further ahead and then he says that you are also, all your activities appears like, the other day we heard, when Krishna and Balaram, when they come, they guda kapata manushaha. So they appear like they are masked themselves in the human form. They appear like ordinary boys. Nobody can figure out. Only the pure devotees can figure out that it is the Supreme Lord. And they can know for what purpose he has come. Here exactly Brahma is explaining is the position of the Supreme Lord. He has got nothing to do with material existence. Absolutely nothing to do with material existence. In fact, the Jiva, the Upanishads explain that Asangoi ahang Purushaha. We have got nothing to do with matter. Matter and the spirit, there's no connection at all. I mean, it doesn't mix. Like the Prabhupada many times gives this example of the oil and the water. If you try to mix oil and water, you can never mix it. Similarly, the Jiva has got nothing to do with matter. But because of the illusory potency of the Lord, because we are bewildered by the illusory potency, we are trying to lord over the material nature. So that's our disease condition. So here, Brahma is pointing out Vidambayasi Bhutale. Vidambayasi Bhutale means the Lord, it apparently appears like he is performing all ordinary activities, like any other person. But he says that Prapanna Janatananda Sandoham Pratitum Prabho. But his activities that he is performing, these are all not on the mundane platform. This is simply to give pleasure to his surrendered devotees. So these two words in this verse, very prapanna is the very important word, that a person who has surrendered his life, surrendered to whom? To Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, and his devotees. And prapancham, the word to word meaning, it is explained that this particular activity of Krishna, he himself performs amazing activities which are not mundane. That has to be understood. It is not influenced by the three modes of material nature, although he is coming within the realm of three modes of material nature, but he is not affected by it. That's why whatever activities he performs, namam karmani limpanti name karma palashpriha. He is not bound by the karma phala. So, in fact, by hearing about him, by chanting about him, by speaking about his glories, the severe knots of karma phala is completely destroyed. That's his glory. So Brahma points out that here that his one and only enjoyment is to give pleasure to his devotees, and he says that Sandoham Pratitum Prabhu. So varieties of enjoyment he wants to give to his devotees. Yesterday we heard the conversation between Brahma and Krishna. So you are indebted, Brahma says, you are indebted to your devotees because you already given yourself so much to Putana, and what are you going to give to your devotees? So the Lord says that actually my devotees will be giving themselves so much to me that I am in advance. Whatever they are going to do, they are going to perform further amazing activities which will be very pleasing to me. So I am already I have given myself to them completely. I have nothing more to give. I have totally given to them. And what is the reward they have? The service that they perform to him, that is the greatest reward. So that's being pointed out. And so this point is being again and again repeated. Srila Prabhupada in his purports, and it's in several verses we can see one of the internal reasons for which the Lord comes to this material world. The external reason is one thing. Yes, he wants to kill the asuras. He wants to protect his devotees. More important, the secret of the Lord's descent here to the material world is to enjoy loving exchanges with his devotees. That's his real intention. So that is being highlighted in today's verse. So it is explained here in the purport. So specifically, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the commentary points out that he gives two analogies. Very nice analogy he gives. So when you have a lamp, and then when there is a heavy sunshine, what is the use of a lamp? It's not so powerful. But the same lamp, when it is in a dark place, it becomes very effective. Then another example he gives here. He gives the example of a diamond. When a diamond is placed on a silver plate, there is some effect, but when it is kept on a plate of blue glass, it is more shining, it's more attractive. So he points out that the Lord's activities, his various pastimes, when he comes to this earth and he performs, it's even more attractive. And it's the same thing when we hear from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's explanations. He explains that there are some for example, there is no killing of asuras in the Goloka Vrindavan, but in the Bhauma Gokula, Krishna performs those activities. So that is even more, there's so much excitement. It creates great, that the devotees of the Lord becomes more dependent to the Lord. Then the Lord performs various amazing feats, and all these activities he's performing. By all these activities, he's captivating the minds of all the jivas. So that is his intention. In one of the commentaries on the Vishnu Sahasranama for the name Anala, so the nature of the fire, how much ever fuel you give to the fire, the fire is going to, further expand. The fire never, is satisfied. How much you just put so much fuel, it further expands. So similarly, one of the acharyas are pointing out that the Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is not satisfied. He wants to please his devotees. So he says that is one of the reasons for which he expands himself into various incarnations. How many incarnations? The Bhagavatam explains that it is like the waves in the ocean. Asankyeha. You can't count. So many waves you have in the ocean. Similarly, the Lord's expansions are uncountable. And why he does this? Simply to please his devotees, simply to protect his devotees, simply to give shelter to his devotees. Simply he wants to experience loving exchanges with his devotees. So that is the whole point. And not only that, so he descends, he sends his pure devotees. So they also have the same mission to please the Supreme Lord. In fact, we know it's a very famous example that why Sripad Ramanujacharya, when he descended to this material world to spread the mission of the Lord, the reason is that he saw once the Lord was suffering from headache. So then he said that, so why he is having this headache, why he is in a very painful condition, because he is seeing that there are so many jivas. They are forgetful of the Lord and they are completely bound by illusion. So to relieve that pain, the pure devotees of the Lord, they descend to this material world. So the same thing. So that's being pointed out here. So Srila Prabhupada further points out in the Krishna book, he says that, he specifically points out that that's being pointed out in this verse as well. I can also understand that your appearance as a small cowherd boy, a child of the cowherd men, is not at all a material activity. So he is obliged. He is obliged by what? He is obliged by the affection of his pure devotees. So this is something. So that's the nature of the Supreme Lord. This nature is so much emphasized throughout the scriptures. This Bhakta Vatsalya. So much he loves his devotees that we cannot even understand how much love he has for the devotees. So that's the beauty of the Lord, that he wants to give himself to his devotees, and at no point of time we have to, if we just think that these are some mundane activity that he is performing, that we are complete fools. So that's what Brahma is pointing out here, that his various activities, his various amazing feats that he performs, it's all completely captivating. I don't remember the verse when there is in the 7th chapter of the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, 10.7.1. You can have a look at it. Parikshit Maharaj, he is actually appreciating Shukadeva Goswami. He's saying that specifically the pastimes of Krishna is so captivating that it purifies the heart of the hearers. Those who hear about Krishna's various activities, his pastimes, his wonderful feats, it is very pleasing to the heart, is one point. Second point is that it purifies the heart from so many illusory ideas, so many anarthas. It is completely purifying. So then he says that, my dear Shukadev, you please continue to narrate. Continue to narrate. This is so pleasing to the ears. So, so we are very fortunate in one sense that, the process that Srila Prabhupada has given us, that we ourselves are conditioned, but in the process of being relieved from the conditioning, we purify ourselves and also we try to help others by giving this knowledge. When we just go out and knock at the doors of several houses, we just see people are so much engrossed in front of the television. We just see they're just, every house they're watching some serial or some movies or some cartoons and so many things. When you just go and knock at the door, people are very busy, and then Krishna comes, in the form of literary, in the literary incarnation, in the form of the books. He goes and knocks at the door, and then here is a book for you. Here is Krishna. When we take Krishna, Supreme Person of Godhead, we just tell this point that Krishna. You just hear about Krishna, his various activities. And even people, some of them who are from the pious background, they have some idea. But there are some people in the modern days, in India in modern days, now they do not know anything actually. They are so much captivated by the Western culture. They don't even know the importance of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana, Mahabharata. People have no idea. So yesterday when we met one person, he said, I have all the books, whatever books you are distributing, I have all the books. But still, I will take one Ramayana, he said. I just asked him, so what is it that it is inspiring? He said that, okay, you people are really, nowadays, nobody is even reading any books, he said that. People are almost most of the times in the smartphone. They are looking into the videos. But this culture is so important, studying the Granthas, because it's so purifying. And this message is it was a good experience for us also, that when this message is so powerful and transcendental, that he was appreciating that this definitely it's got a solid message. If people, young boys and girls, they should read this, because they are going completely out of control. Because the illusory energy of the Lord is so powerful. The more you get absorbed into all the mundane stuff, and then basically you can't be a sane person. That's what is happening in the material world. So the more a person comes towards the service of Krishna and hearing about Krishna, hearing about the holy name, then he develops sanity in his life. Being sane means, being educated means getting educated in the science of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, all the kinds of education that they are receiving in this outside world is all just useless. It's not going to help them to come out of the repetition of birth, death, old age and disease. They're going to get caught in the same old problems that they're suffering in this material world. So hearing from Srila Prabhupada, hearing the pure message that Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita, it's very revolutionary, and it really invokes our original feelings for Krishna. That's called love of God. So that is what actually can satisfy the soul. Nothing else can satisfy the soul. So that's why in yesterday's verse we see Brahma is pointing out that until people become your devotees, he makes this point. They have to become your devotees. If they don't become your devotees, they're going to be suffering in this material world. They are, he says that they're going to be shackled, the foot shackles in the name of relatives, family members, so-called societies. They're going to be bothered. So in fact, one of the commentaries, I'm not sure it is Srila Jiva Goswami or Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he points out, he gives a very nice example. He quotes from Vishnu Purana, one beautiful verse, and he points out that, see, the material are so much attached to various materialistic objects, and we can see people are attached to their so many varieties of possessions. It could be right from a house to various assets they have, the various gadgets they have. They're so much attached, and they're so much absorbed in that. So the shloka says that I want such kind of absorption in trying to remember you. I don't know who is actually saying that verse, but it's a beautiful verse that's being quoted. And similarly, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur also in one of the songs, he says that the materialists are so much absorbed and they are engaged in doing something which apparently they think that it's going to give them happiness, but it's foolishness. He said, I want to be absorbed in your nama, in your activities, in remembering you. I also want to be doubly enthused than how the materialists are being absorbed. And to be absorbed, it's equally important that we read, we hear, and then we apply the teachings in our lives, and we serve. So we go out and distribute these books, we hear from these books, and we get inspired, and we go out and distribute, we meet people, we try to help them. And really, when we go out and see people, so many of them are suffering actually. So many, they are not able, some of them are not, they're taking pills for sleeping. Some of them are having so many different kinds of loans. People are actually suffering in the material world. Although sometimes, like as this verse explains, I'm just a little bit extrapolating that as the Supreme Lord Krishna, his activities are not mundane. Even we are going out and distributing books. Some people will say that, oh, here are the sales people. But although it may appear like like a similar kind of a sales activity that we are doing as anybody goes and gives some products, but this activity that we are performing is completely on the transcendental platform. It's not some business oriented. We may collect some donations and all those things, but this is really going to give solution to all the problems of all the different difficulties the people are having. This is the real solution. Not only it helps them to come out of birth, death, old age and disease, but actually it helps to revive our original consciousness, Krishna consciousness, which is pure love of God. So we'll stop here. We will continue with so much enthusiasm, not only in this month of marathon. We have to continue with our preaching activity in terms of distributing books, meeting people, cultivating people. We should really plan our life, how to help others. So as we discuss this point that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that's the whole point, that we should not be just thinking about I, me, mine, my family. More than that, we should think that the whole world, everything, all the living entities are part and parcel of Krishna, and how to bring everyone to the lotus feet of Krishna. And in this way, we will be able to please his pure devotees, we will be able to please Krishna and our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. In that way, we will be completely satisfied. We will be extremely happy. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.